they can pick up their dual lane as well now. They are hovering over that Sivir. Haven't seen Huston play Sivir in quite a while, so could be a change of scene for him. But we'll see exactly what goes. And Limit might end up picking up his own mid laner for himself. Could be something like Orianna. We know he plays a great Orianna, but they're taking their time anyways.
Exactly, and I think the Sivir pick wouldn't actually be a bad choice. I mean, Sivir's potential to reach level 2 with if she takes W first, she can push that wave, get level 2 really fast, and force the opposing bot lane to farm under the turret. And we've seen it in previous games, especially in the Korean league, that you saw they ignored the first camp as a Sivir and Fresh, and they just chose to go straight into the laning phase and try and push that lane to get level 2 that way instead of losing HP from the smaller camps.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. We know that Sivir has great pushing potential, especially with the Ricochet and the Boomerang clearing a lot of those waves pretty fast. So it gives that potential of getting those towers chunked down pretty quickly as well. But we see that Prince Tarquin has gone for that Wukong and Lissandra. I haven't seen Lissandra being played too frequently. It's going to be an interesting pick to see for them.
Lissandra, I'm guessing that's probably... Well, it's a flex pick because it can go in the top lane, it can go in the mid lane, and Lissandra, especially recently, has been a very high priority pick, especially in the LPL and in the... I might get this wrong again, but the Korean is LCK, is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, it is, the LCK, yes. And Lissandra is highly prioritized in both those leagues, and for rightly so. She has so much CC, it's almost like she can be played in several different ways. I mean, she can be built tanky with the Rod of Ages, she can build assassin, or she can just go full on whichever she feels the team needs. But there's so much CC coming from the side of old bag of beans. Did I say that right?
Old can of beans.
Oh, can of beans. My bad. Old can of beans. But yeah, there's so much CC from that side with the Wukong ult, the Lissandra ult. Oh, and it looks like we are back in the champion.
Bit of a issue going on there, so we'll be heading back into Champion Select shortly enough. Got to figure out what this error was. Someone must have DC'd.
Pretty sure that Hustlin is DC'd, and just got a message there that UNiTE were not sorry, UNiTE did not realize that Maokai was still disabled from being untargetable. So that kind of screwed up their comp. It kind of screwed up what they were going to pick. They should have really known that. They should have really kind of done a little bit of research, guys. But we are going to go a quick break to try and get this sorted out as quickly as possibly can. We're going to go to a quick music break to try and get us back into champions all pre-selected again. It'll only just be the last pick for Old Can of Beans and the last pick for UNiTE that should be left to choose. But we'll be right back as soon as we get this all sorted. Don't go away. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Do apologise for that slight delay. We were trying to sort it out quickly as much. They have decided to not go with that Maokai ban or Maokai pick as it was disabled due to a bug that makes it invulnerable or integrable pretty much to anything. But anyway, we're going to go straight back in. It looks like they're going to pick up a Rek'Sai though. Bit of a new champion though, Como. Don't really know if it works in the top lane or it might be a Jarvan top lane. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be a Jarvan in the jungle. Could be Rek'Sai in the top lane. That does work as well. Not sure exactly what they're comfortable with, but I know for a fact that Razor does play a lot of Jarvan and he's more comfortable with it. So I'd expect that to be in the jungle. But we are going to see a bit of switch over. The LeBlanc is locked in, so that's going to be for Enlimit in the mid lane. He's going back to his old roots. Didn't play LeBlanc. When she got nerfed with her Q, it was the Sigil of Silence, but it got changed then. That silence was removed. She got nerfed a little bit, so she fell out of play, but she's not been picked up quite a bit recently in competitive play. But it's going to be a Renekton in the top lane.
And the Renekton pick on the 5.1 patch. I mean, Renekton has been through some changes with this recent patch. I mean, his Fury decays a lot faster. However, his abilities now generate more Fury when hitting champions. So the key word here is champions and not minions. Because previously, you would see Renekton just go to lane, Q the whole wave, and just push it. However, now he has to be careful because he doesn't gain as much Fury from using abilities on minions now. So he has to almost guarantee to hit a champion, to gain that Fury.
Yeah, and that's the team compositions for both teams. Looking quite strong on both sides. You can see a lot of comfort picks for UNiTE. They're very comfortable on those champions, very regularly played by them. Same with Old Can of Beans. Bringing out some new picks as well. Haven't seen Wukong played in the jungle in a while now, and Lissandra obviously being a strong pick is going to be played in the mid lane against Enlimit. And we're going to see that Jace in the top lane. He has been coming back into favor as well, playing the top lane and mid lane as well. Works both ways, but it's going to be interesting to see how these matchups work for both teams.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm looking at UNiTE's team composition. They have a very early game focused team comp. I mean, they have LeBlanc, they have Jarvan, they have Renekton, who I'd still say is still fairly strong in the early game. So I'm expecting a lot of plays from the early game, hopefully getting maybe even contesting the first dragons, and obviously with that LeBlanc who has such early pressure. And if they do plan on getting a dragon, that LeBlanc has that threat of being able to almost one-shot someone right before a dragon fight, or maybe just take them out to very low percentage, for example, just to burst them, and then they have to go back. Otherwise, they risk losing a player for that dragon fight. It almost guarantees a number advantage when played well.
Yeah, and LeBlanc is possibly going to be the strongest. I expect that Razor does like to focus on his jungle in those early levels, and when it hits level 6, he goes to go for those ganks. So I expect the same for Prince Tarquin, because Wukong with the Cyclone at level 6 definitely brings a lot more CC and more potential for succeeding in ganks. So I expect them both to farm it out in those early levels, and as soon as it hits level 6 to try and get a potential and successful gank off in one of the lanes and probably head straight for Dragon, because we know how important Dragon is, and especially in those early levels we want to start getting those stacks as soon as possible.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of the patches, with the recent change again, it's now junglers have 2 stacks of smites. And what you've also seen is the different jungle items. I mean, the enchants can now be switched, or the jungle items can be switched, So what you'll see in previous, for example, in the Korean scene, you'll see junglers pick up the Trailblazer first, and then once they farmed up to level 6, and when they get their first major item, they then swap that for a different jungle item. And this different style of play with junglers just makes them more flexible. I mean, if they want to go damage, they can go damage. But for example, they want to switch to a more tankier role, they just sell it and buy the more tankier jungle item. And this opens up a lot for the junglers for this patch, and I'm really excited to see what these 2 different junglers do.
Yeah, I really like that. Junglers have a huge impact when it comes to games, and their team's very reliant on them, especially for when it comes for ganking as well. So having this new system brought in, it brings a lot of great potential for the junglers, and it's nice for them to have a bit of change and there's something interesting brought in for them. Just looking at these lane matchups, it's going to be Renekton against Jace in that top lane. Now we know that Jace is ranged against melee, but Jace is more focused on bursting down from a distance as well. It'll be interesting to see how they face off one another. And then in the jungle, it's going to be Jarvan and Wukong. We said before that it's about that level 6 because it brings the CC. Now I'm interested to see is this mid lane. Both extremely high burst champions, but Lissandra brings more of that CC when it comes to level 6 as well. So I wonder how them two are going to do in the mid lane. And finally, the duo matchups, it's going to be Sivir and Thresh with Graves and Braum. So against Graves and Braum, should I say. So two extremely strong teams. So we'll see how it works out for them. And I'm interested to see how well Old Can of Beans have improved since the last time. Will they be able to put up a good fight against UNiTE?
It's going to be an exciting game. And I'm sure, judging just back from the team compositions, for example, just looking at the mid lane and what you mentioned about the top lane, there's a lot to say about it because, as you were saying, Jace is a more poke-orientated champion. However, he struggles when people with gap closers get on top of him. And Renekton is a champ that can do that with his double dashes with his E. Once Renekton dashes twice, stuns the Jace with his W, and then Q, and then just disengages. So I think Jace is going to have a very hard time in that top lane unless he can apply enough pressure with his auto attacks and his Qs in the early levels.
Yeah, we see matchups and we think that one certain champion might counter another, but we always have to remember that it's about the skill matchup as well. One person could be playing a champion that completely dominates another just by the abilities, but we have to take into consideration the skill level amongst these players as well, and it's quite high. Both of these teams are quite high in terms of skill level, so I'm pretty excited to see how they face off one another and how well they are when it comes to the laning phase and when it comes to objective control, and obviously the most important is vision control, because we all know that vision wins games.
Looks like we're going into the game.
Yeah, we should be going into the rift very, very shortly. I am back, guys. Analysis and color casting is just not my thing. I find it very hard to do as I don't have to say as many words. We are just getting into game very, very shortly now. You will have UNiTE on the blue side versus Old Can Beans on the red side. UNiTE rocking some pretty similar comfort champions for them. However, the Old Can Beans did not get that favorable Cho'Gath jungle that they always like playing with. Is a bit of a favor of Prince Tyquin, and also the new gates, the new fantastic side gates for the jungler makes it a lot easier for them to get into that jungle. But Como level 1, are we expecting any kind of shenanigans?
Well, we know that UNiTE are really into getting into their jungle, setting their wards down, getting some deep vision as well onto the enemy. But it looks like everybody's kind of spread out across the map. They're trying to get the wards down on the river and the entrances of their buffs. Everybody wants to play it safe. We said this a million times before, that it's best to start off in your own jungle and to get your own buffs going, especially since a good few patches ago when the jungle changed, and it makes it a little bit harder for the jungler as well, especially during those early levels. And if you fall behind, it's pretty hard to catch up. So best to stay in your own jungle, get your farm going, and wait for that gank potential.
Yeah, and I think as well, like, it's going to be a hell of a lot easier for Jarvan to gank. As you said, Strike, he's a very good early game pressure. He's got that level 2 flag and drag. He'll have an awful lot more presence than the Wukong. Wukong he has got decent burst, but he kind of has to wait till level 6 when he gets his ultimate to be able to get the knock up the Cyclone before he's able to kind of do any real damage to anyone into lane, you know, with the kind of combo CC. But Jarvan versus Wukong. Wukong hasn't been seen in the jungle competitively anyway in the high tiers of play. Is there a particular reason for that, or is it just that there's so many other junglers that do what Wukong does but better?
I feel like Wukong maybe a bit, I'm not sure of the recent patches, however he's been quite squishy in the jungle. I mean, you see right now, he's getting help from their bot lane in the jungle, and comparing it to UNiTE's side, UNiTE's bot lane are actually able to take the smaller camp for themselves with the Sivir and Thresh. However, Braum and Graves had to help the junglers. However, they're back in the lane right now, but which bot lane gets to level 2 first is going to determine a lot, and it'll be interesting to see which actually get it, because Old Can of Beans actually reached bot lane first, so let's see who actually gets that level 2 first.
Yeah, and it's going to be a very, very interesting bot lane as well. We know that UNiTE are very much known for their bot lane, Cocoa Pops, or as they call it, Hustle Puff, because of a combo of Cocoa Pops and Hustling tend to be very good, and they have to hit the level 2 first, so they now have the chance to freeze this lane away from the bot lane of Old Can of Beans. So very nicely done. The double Golem start, or the Gromp start as they like to call it. seems to have helped them out very, very nicely, and there's not really a lot Graves can do. What do you do in this situation, Coleman, when you're an ADC and you know you just can't go near anybody?
Yeah, it's a really difficult situation. Did manage to land the hook and got a bit of poke down. Now, knowing that Graves is quite short-ranged, especially compared to Sivir, who has that boomerang ability to toss that out and harass her opponents, it's really difficult for an AD carry to try and get near CS, especially being zoned out incredibly. Oh, but Poonpass taking a lot of damage.
Yeah, Poonpass taking a lot of damage, but giving a lot back onto Unlimited as well. He got caught out there by the little AoE stun around Lissandra, so he needs to be a bit careful. They both need to be a bit careful. Passive was popped on Unlimited's LeBlanc, so he's not going to have that for juking potential, but there goes the flash, there goes the ignite. Good first blood there. UNiTE coming in straight away, and already they're seeing a lot of pressure being put down as well. Bot lane comes out. Thresh does miss the hook. Still a lot of damage. First blood goes to mid lane. That's a fantastic start for Unlimited.
Yeah, and I love that about Unlimited. He really takes those spontaneous moves. You wouldn't expect it. He flashed right in and got himself that kill. It's nicely done by him. And really nice play. And we know how scary he is. In the top lane, a little bit of aggression going on as well. Aggression going actually around the whole map.
Yeah, and Strike, coming from your way in a mid laner, kind of like you do main mid lane and you are a diamond player, so what kind of mindset do you have to go in knowing that you've just kind of like lost a pretty hefty trade at anything?
Well, losing, especially given a solo kill up to LeBlanc, of all people, who is a very snowball champion, is something you should be worried about. I mean, Lissandra now, LeBlanc with one kill is enough to snowball that lead into a monster in the mid game. So, if I was Lissandra right now, I would probably be requesting a lot of assistance from the jungle, because it's going to be very difficult for Lissandra to lane. Oh, and here's the gank.
Yeah, there's a gang. Ends up being a traded kill. eBay gets the kill onto Jace. Had to sacrifice himself, though. Wukong picked up the counter kill. So it's a 1-for-1. Good rotation there by Prince Tarquin. Able to get that kill off, able to trade it off evenly. But realistically, a Jace should not be losing that hard against a Renekton. eBay's playing it exceptionally well.
Yeah, it's really all about that vision. He didn't have that vision either. But I'm pretty sure he came through the lane to gank, actually. Oh, action in the bot lane yet again.
Yeah, more and more poke going down. They're just kind of throwing out summoner spells abilities and seeing if they can get as much off it as they possibly can. I find it's actually very, very interesting. Braum was around the CS, a little bit closer to, he's going to force the heal out of Victorious. The ignite is still burning. Hustlin is trying to go for it. He will get stunned up. One more auto attack from Victorious should do it. He's going to touch it. There it is. He's got one more little thing. Forces the flash there from Hustlin. Or not the flash, sorry, the heal from Hustlin. And I feel like they still, however, have the advantage in this bot lane, as they may be able to try and keep this in. I'm not quite sure, but again, it's very, very good. But here comes Prince Tarquin. He's trying to come in from the side. He hasn't got any CC, so he's going to be relying on a Q, concussive blows passive, to be landed on top of Sunbow. But here he goes. Prince, Hustling gets the spell shield on top of the Q, forces the flash out of him as well. Coco Pops lands the hook, but it's going to be another bit of a chase. Flash is in. Oh no, Prince Tarquin, he may have just made a huge mistake. He hasn't quite got away. Yes, he hasn't quite got away. They do end up losing him, and in the top lane, as we said, the directed camera goes straight up. Jarvan making an instant reaction. They do end up getting that kill as well. It ends up being a 2-for-0 on the side of UNiTE, and realistically, Strike, this is just not a good early game for whole can of beans.
No, plays are being made left, right, and center for UNiTE. I mean, UNiTE was beautifully played by Hustlin and Coco Pops in the bot lane. The Wukong came in for the gank, and I liked how Coco Pops walked away from the Sivir to throw the lantern to increase the distance when Sivir takes that lantern. So the distance between the Wukong and the Sivir is now extended, and they both flashed for it as well. But to come out of a 2v3 and to get a kill out of it as well, they played it exceptionally well.
Yeah, and that ward in the bot lane just expired for UNiTE, and Wukong just came right in for that gank. But regardless of that, I feel that Okambi's got a bit too aggressive, a bit too greedy. In the mid lane, the ultimate does go down onto Unlimited, but nothing really comes out of it. As I was saying, that bot lane, they did go a bit too overly aggressive and ended up losing, giving up a kill in that sense. So gotta be careful in those kind of situations.
Yeah, that's going to be very, very hard now. You have a pretty fed Renekton as well in this top lane. He pops the Dominus as we see him going in on top of him. Not going to be able enough, though. He flashes in. It's not enough, though. Now they are in a serious situation. Both Jace and Renekton very, very low. Dekalol nearly getting taken out. Not quite. They did burn a flash off Renekton, which is a huge, huge summoner down. But he's going to back away. He has got his TP. Should be all right. Looks like he's going towards a Brutalizer first. And already, a blue team turret, a top turret actually going down already. That's a huge amount of pressure this early for UNiTE.
Yeah, that's a good bit of gold lead for them. They're a good bit ahead as well. I feel that it's just a matter of time before Dragon is the next objective for both teams. And you see now, since the lead is in favor of UNiTE, they're going to take advantage. We've seen it plenty of times before, how they like to go for those really early Dragons. Now that Razor is level 6 as well. He has that Cataclysm available, so it's just a matter of time before they go for a gank and try to get a kill or two and head for that Dragon.
Yeah, and Strike, looking kind of, upon this perspective, like, we've seen it time and time again where teams get so far ahead that they kind of get a little bit complacent, and no team is not guilty of this. We've seen it from the top tier teams to the lower tier teams. What do UNiTE have to do to make sure that they do not lose any more of the advantage they just gained?
They just have to maintain vision control right now. I mean, they are ahead. They've got the top tier 1 tower down. What they have to do now is just get some deep wards, either in the top side of Old Can of Beans jungle or the bot side. And like what Kamal was saying, we should definitely be seeing some dragon action right about now, especially with UNiTE's team comp, with Jarvan, with Renekton, who is now fairly big, and with that TP who is on cooldown right now. Oh, and let's look at the fight bot lane.
Yeah, we're going to see a bike, but Fox goes down as well. Here comes the Cyclone as well from Prince Darkwing. He's actually not so healthy. One more auto attack will do it. He goes down. Here comes Razor as well. This is a complete turnaround. They're actually destroying these health bar. Victoria's trying to juke back. It's not going to be enough. It's a double kill going down. Cataclysm goes down as well. LeBlanc ended up getting that kill onto Braum. eBay and Decolol going at each other, but I don't think eBay came out of that anyway stronger, as he ended up losing so much more of his health. Does dodge out the shock blast, able to walk away as well, but he should be able to jump on top of eBay, and he's going to take him down. Nice move there. It's a bit of a respite, but they are going to win the first dragon, or it's going to be a first dragon for UNiTE. And as you said, Como, first dragon pretty damn early as well. They are just pushing their advantages.
Yeah, and just at the 10-minute mark, exactly when UNiTE like to go for that dragon, they had a perfect set. They went towards that bot lane. They had Jarvan with the Cataclysm here in the mid lane.
Oh, the mid lane, Limit taking a lot of burst there, able to back away, does burn the ultimate and the ignite off of Lissandra. Poonpest not able to get anything off that, except for a couple of cooldowns. And in the end, she doesn't even have the wave push, she's not even able to push that too hard. Hustling just gonna get away from that recall there. Again, UNiTE just calm and collected, as they always are in these leagues. Just going through the motions, able to pick up as many advantages as they possibly can, but a lot of vision control, Strike, on this blue side jungle. They really are focusing on to try and get that blue side.
And it's just as we were talking about, how can UNiTE snowball their lead in the early game further into the mid game, and this is exactly what they're doing. Look at that extremely deep pink ward in the bot side of Old Can of Beans' jungle, and if that rarely actually ever gets spotted, and the longer that it lasts, the more worth it provides. I mean, it's 100 gold. However, if it has the potential to last there for the whole game, and I'd probably see UNiTE now focusing around the mid or the bot side, trying to get the rest of those tier 1s down.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what they need to do. Only mid turret did go down exceptionally quickly. It actually wasn't a brutalizer that eBay went with Renekton. It was a Tiamat going towards that early Ravenous Hydra. We see the tier and the brutalizer on top of Decolol as he gets jumped on again. Huge amount of burst there coming out from eBay. He gets knocked back by the hammer. Keeps taking those little tower shots that are stopping him from doing all these different things. Doing good tradings, I should say. So we see Victorious trying to go toe-to-toe with the UNiTE bot lane, and Prince Tarkin, he's putting a lot of emphasis on this bot lane combo. It's just not working out for him.
Yeah, he's really focusing on that bot lane because he knows it's the strongest link to UNiTE, because they do extremely well and they're really capable of managing their own. But if you're in the mid lane,
yeah, on the mid lane, it's going to be a limit. He's going to be taking one more hit. There he goes. It's going to be a flash there from UNiTE. But here we go. Glacial Fish. It does hit onto Hustling. He does get away, though, as Director Tama shows us the death of the red buff very, very shortly. And again, this is just kind of like, look at the amount of time that's wasted at the moment by Prince Tarquin. He's just sitting at the back there, knowing that he can try something, but most likely it's not going to work.
Yeah, he's really... Sorry. I was going to say that. Yeah, he's really focusing on that bot lane. He's really lurking around there. He wants to help out his team, but it's not working out, as you said. And there's been a couple of counter ganks as well by Razor. But you can see the clear dominance that Coco Pops and Hustle have. They're not letting him near the creeps of the top lane. eBay in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, eBay in a bit of trouble actually. They're both kind of trading a bit equally. eBay didn't quite get the burst down that he probably wanted to. You're going to be able to trace away Razor from this mid lane. And again, 2 turrets down to none. It's a 5,000 gold lead already in favor of UNiTE. They have a dragon stack as well. Prince Tarky getting hooked up. He's going to get flayed up as well. He might have the flash. Yes, he does. He goes back in, but he gets knocked up again. Uses a Cyclone. They're trying to go in on top of Razor. They do give it that kill. Coco Pops pops down the box, and they do get a Cataclysm out of Coco Pop, or out of Razor as well. Here we go. There goes another little kill on top of LeBlanc, and that's exactly what you want. Hustling, trying to come in, uses the Q, gets another kill on top of him, and that's another bit of damage. Just another bit of advantage, I should say, going in favor of UNiTE as they push down this bot lane. And realistically, that was just, as you said, Strike, pure vision control.
Yep, I mean, what we just saw from, especially from that pink ward, it takes 5 auto attacks just to destroy a pink ward, and that was enough time for UNiTE's bot lane and the jungler to collapse on top of Wukong, who was trying to take that solo. And there was beautiful plays made by Coco Pops. They're flashing, flaying, hooking, and it was just making catches in their jungle. And this is how they snowball. They get deep wards in to spot them, and if they ever find themselves trying to take a pink, which is very dangerous because it takes so long to take that pink, and Wukong was punished for it.
Yeah, Wukong didn't even look to think that, you know, someone might be waiting around the corner for him. Did get punished pretty damn hardly. And as we look on the map, actually it's very short. There is 1 ward at the moment for Old Can of Beans. They have one bit of vision that's in the fog of war. Absolutely nothing else, and just pure vision dominance, as you say, from UNiTE. As you see Decolog getting jumped on as well. He's going to stun up. eBay going to pick up a nice kill for himself, and this is snowballing very, very quickly out of control, Komal.
Yeah, so it's leading from one kill to another, and we know that UNiTE really know how to maintain that. They get 1 kill and they'll snowball from it. They'll go for their objectives and they'll get it on time as well. They won't leave them around. We've seen it time and time again as well from teams to get a bit careless as well, to kind of underestimate their opponents. But we hope to see maybe UNiTE be able to bring a different this different time around. But they're pushing for that mid lane. They're gonna go for that tower, and looks like they're gonna pick it up as well. Won't be able to contest it. So Razor lurking around the side as well, looking for engage. And with this lead for UNiTE, we'll be able to go for that dragon soon as well. I don't feel that Old Can of Beans will be able to contest it either.
No, and again, another top tier tower. eBay has been on an island at the moment, and he's 40 CS ahead. Everyone on the side of UNiTE, apart from LeBlanc by 1, is ahead on CS, and you really have to worry at the moment for Old Can of Beans. They're just getting not anything they really need from this, and LeBlanc already stealing that as well. We see the hook coming out as well. Coco Pops just putting out a little bit more pressure. The expert fisherman that he is, throwing out them hooks left, right, and center. Again, it's just more and more pressure. eBay sealing the red buff. They've got full vision control now on the top side of the jungle, or not the top side of the jungle, but the kind of top side of blue buff. As we see a couple of more things going down. It's just not going good. Prince Tarkin gets hooked up now. He's going to have to use his decoy. Tries to go in. Cyclone goes down. He goes down. That's another dragon guaranteed almost for UNiTE, as eBay going to get actually ice prisoned. Going to get a lot of damage, but pops the Dominus. They're trying to still go on top of him. He's going to get a lot of damage back. Homepest able to get away with his life. They do pick up a kill, but they lose an objective for it, and they may lose even more people as Coco Pops goes in, but he does miss the flay. And again, just on the hunt has been popped. Decolog trying to go away from this now. Oh, he gets caught on the hook straight off the bat. They drop down the box. They drop down the Cataclysm. It's going to be a kill for Razor, as we see Brom trying to go full man mode on this thing. He's not able to, or is he able to take out the hustling the AD carry? Not quite. LeBlanc takes out Graves in the back line, and it's just completely going a complete wrong way for All Kind of Beans. Honestly, I don't see a 10,000 gold lead at 17 minutes. I honestly do not see UNiTE showing this away. So what do Old Kind of Beans have to do, Strike, to you know, kind of wipe the slate clean and come into the second game with a better mindset, considering that they're just so far behind in this?
I think they need to play a bit more conservatively in the early game, especially when noting UNiTE team comp. They have a lot of early game or early champions who have very strong early games. And they have to play accordingly to that. I mean, with their own team comp, they don't have that much strength in the early game. I think they have power spikes within the mid game, especially with the Jace, the Wukong at level 6, and the burst from the Graves, and also Lysandra. So they just need to avoid giving up those early kills in the early game against UNiTE, or maybe for the next game, just try and ban those early aggressive champions, for example, Jarvan, LeBlanc, and like I said, play accordingly. Don't give up early kills and try and just play the farm game.
Yeah, exactly. And Como, where do UNiTE need to go to end this match as cleanly as they possibly can? Because a 10,000 goal lead, though is not insurmountable, is still exceptionally difficult to kind of get back from. Especially when you've got champions like, the likes of LeBlanc on the other team, Jarvan, the playmaking kind of champions, and eBay, he's going to run into Prince Tarquin, he's going to jump straight into him. So much burst going down, holy moly. He has got a Ravenous Hydra and some Ionian boots as well. He's trying to be as what would you call as damaged as he can. He's pushing everybody, or pulling everybody up to that top lane. A lot of resources committed for old Can of Beans. As we see now, Hustling pushing down this mid turret. But again, what do you do, Como, as UNiTE to try and end this as quickly as you can?
Yeah, we can see the confidence in them as well, and they're already grouping up towards this mid lane. So that's the thing. I notice a lot when it comes to competitive play, when teams are ahead, they'll end up dispersing around the map and kind of doing their own thing, farming for a while, stalling it out. But that enables the opposing team to catch up quite easily as well, because they're giving them that time to catch up, to farm, to get their items. Because when it comes to a certain stage in the game, gold doesn't even matter anymore. It's about getting those items and working as a team together. But what UNiTE need to do is group as a team, get those objectives, which they're doing pretty well. They have left eBay in the top lane just to split push on his own, which is fine. But they're grouping together and obtaining as many objectives as they can, and that's basically what's going to end the game for them.
Yeah, here we go. Poompest has to use the ult on himself. The tower is still up. The Hustler's trying to get rid of him. The Cyclone comes out as well. This might be actually not a bad fight for old Can of Beans. As I say that, though, they do have to disperse. They lose 2 more people. Jace did go down the bot lane, or the top lane, I should say. There's another one. Will UNiTE get another one? Ooh, it won't be a clean ace. Hustling did not want to get away his perfect game of 606. They are now pushing on inhibitor turrets. And it's just more and more pressure coming onto them right now. UNiTE looking as strong as ever, Strike.
Yeah, I mean, 606 on Sivir, 514 is LeBlanc, Jarvan, Renekton, and even the Fresh. I mean, it's really hard to come back from this, especially when the gold lead is almost 15k right now. It actually is 15k. And in terms of items, old Can of Beans are just far behind. I don't think they can contest for any objectives right now. I mean, for the next dragon that's going to come up, or even the Baron in this case, they can't really fight against this, but they can only really make picks.
Yeah, and think as well, as we said earlier just in the cast, they need to kind of forget about this game, go into the next one with an open mind, a clean slate, to see them now trying to push back this mid lane turret. The only outside turret apart from the Nexus one left standing for them. They've really been outclassed, for lack of a better word, on every single front. Top lane, mid lane and bot lane all being pushed back and away. And honestly, I think Prince Tarquin just spent a little bit too much time down that bot lane without anything coming good from it. He's 1-5-1, 76 CS, which isn't actually that bad. But they may be going for a little bit of a desperation, Baron. Here comes a TP, though, from Renekton. They are trying to do this, but it's a very bad decision, as Coco Pops is going to be the one-man army. Here we go. There goes a Cataclysm. It's a great move there. The users there. 2 people go down. It's a double kill for LeBlanc. Sivir going to pick up 2 herself. Sorry, Jarvan and Sivir are going to pick up 1 each. And that is going to be 4 for nothing, just from a desperation, Baron. You got to feel, though, once this Baron goes down, though, it's just GG for old Can of Beans. Oh, here we go, Prince Tarquin. He gets caught up, though, by the hook. Very nicely done by Coco Pops. And he is going to be able to... Honestly, 1-0 and 16. He has been everywhere on this map, doing exactly what he needs to do. Super minions are in the bottom lane. Sivir's going to go top. Coco Pops going to go mid. They're going to push down the inhibitors now. There's very low death timers still. But at the same time, Como, it's looking bleak.
Yeah, old Can of Beans is really very little they can do at this stage. There's Baron on UNiTE. It's just a matter of time before they push and basically win the game. It's just, as you said, they need to come to the next game and forget about this. I know a lot of teams end up going on tilt after one game, and it becomes quite hard to get your morale boosted back up to try and win the next game. But things like these happen all the time, where you lose a game pretty harshly as well, but you can come back quickly strong in the next one. And that's all what all Can of Beans have to do.
Yeah, here we go. It's a last-ditch effort. Renekton goes down, but Wukong, Jace, and Braum are soon to follow. Here comes LeBlanc for cleanup, though. Sivir and LeBlanc still very much alive. It's a quadra kill for Sivir. Not quite the penta that Hustling wants, I'm sure, but they are going to start pushing onto those Nexus turrets. You have to feel that this is just going to be the game right now. just so like as you said, all kind of is just too far behind there. IE only or Infinity Edge only finished on top of Graves just there that second. As we see them now pushing on the last Nexus turret. That's gonna be game one of this best of two series, if you like, between All Kind of Beans and UNiTE, going in favor of UNiTE. They take a 1-0 advantage into their group at the moment, but again, Strike, it just all of a sudden snowballed completely out of control for them.
Yeah, I mean, UNiTE played their comp well. They knew their strengths and they knew how to play it. And like I remember what you were saying about the Wukong. His presence in the early game was lacking slightly, and he focused too much in that bottom lane. And maybe it was what Kamal was saying, how UNiTE's bot lane was a huge threat, so they had to try and keep that under control somehow. However, I feel there was too much emphasis on there, and you saw how he wasn't really getting much from it as well. So there was definitely a lot of time wasted. So I'd like to see some changes within his pathing or where he goes. For example, top lane was actually holding his own fairly well. And I think if maybe he got the Jace going, because if Jace falls behind, he becomes fairly weak, and it takes a while for him to build back up into the late game.
And again, I think, as we said before, they just got to forget about it, try come back to it as quick as they can, and just, come into the second game now. They'll be on blue side, so they'll have first pick. Much stronger. They need to try and get something out of this game if they are there this series. If they go 1-1, it's a lot stronger position for them than going 0-2. But anyway, guys, we'll be right back in about 5 or 6 minutes. We're just going to go a quick break, get game 2 set up. Don't go anywhere.
Hello, guys, and welcome back to Game 2. I think Oshin is not here right now at the moment, but we're just going to go through Champions Select quickly. The first ban is going to be that LeBlanc by Old Can of Beans, and Thresh going to be the second one. Then it's pretty predictable. Them two had a fantastic game. Coco Pops and Enlimit did exceptionally well. They all did, but I feel like them two had a really great impact in the previous game. And the same goes for UNiTE. They're going to get rid of that Gnar and that Rengar away from Old Can of Beans.
Definitely. I mean, Coco Pops and that Fresh, he played exceptionally well. His roams, his warding, and his hooks, they were just on point. I mean, and I can't take away from Razor's LeBlanc in the mid lane, getting a solo kill so early on. And then just he's impacting the game so much. His burst, like he's roaming bot lane, he was roaming top lane. Just UNiTE as a team were just making the right plays. And it's no surprise that Old Can of Beans are now banning out these champions from the first game.
Yeah, so they got rid of that Morgana now. It was a pretty smart move by Old Can of Beans. They wanted to pick up that Nami as first pick, so they got rid of the Morgana so it wouldn't counter the Aqua Prison nor the Tidal Wave. And they know that Coco Pops is a really good Morgana as well, so they got rid of that so they could play Nami comfortably in the bot lane. So that's going to be picked up by then. That gives the opportunity to Old Can of Beans to pick up that Kha'Zix, which is pretty strong. I mean, sorry, for UNiTE to pick up that Kha'Zix.
Kha'Zix and Shen have been locked in for UNiTE, and I'm guessing that's a Shen top and a Kha'Zix jungle, most likely. Unless 5.1 brings Kha'Zix back to the mid lane. I'd love to see that again. But
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's going to be Kha'Zix in the jungle. And with the recent changes, I guess it works. I mean, he can build the Trailblazer. He's a bit squishy in the early game with the new jungle. However, with the right path and enough help, maybe, he can actually really become a threat once he gets to the mid game.
Yeah, and Shen, the top lane, really all about that utility. You know, Shen has a great sustain, and they're really looking for that global presence as well to help out their team when required. So, but looking back over to Old Can of Beans, not decided what they want to pick just yet. They're hovering over Nunu. Not sure if they're going to be looking to lock that in. They're going to switch that right back over to Wukong. They're persistent on taking that yet again this time round. And it's just that Prince Darklin's going to have to play a bit differently this time around. He did lurk around that bot lane quite for some time and wasn't really effective. But they do pick up that Jinx for AD carry alongside that Nami.
And with the Nami pick, I guess it makes sense because Nami is a really good babysitter for whatever AD carry she's partnered with. Jinx is a bit unmobile, strong AD carry. However, her early game is a bit weak in the form of she's very vulnerable, and we see a Leona being hovered over, which would actually be a very good pick against Jinx because if that Leona can land that E and then a Q, Jinx is pretty in danger, I'd say. Like, especially if that's followed up by a gank, there's really no getting away from that without burning any summoners.
Yeah, Jinx is quite immobile, except for her passive, but regardless of that, she's still quite vulnerable in lane, and especially against a Leona, it's probably her biggest threat. Same with Thresh, but that was banned. But Leona is quite a threat to deal with, and alongside a Graves, that's such a strong bot lane. That's such a burst combination there in the bot lane, which to make it quite difficult. Yeah, Nami has great utility and sustain as well in lane, which can help Jinx a lot, but it's really hard to deal with such a high burst combination such as Graves and Leona, who are quite a strong duo in the bot lane.
Yeah, precisely. I mean, UNiTE's bot lane right now, Graves and Leona, that's a very scary lane. As you just said, that's a mostly kill lane. And against a Jinx and Nami, they almost have to play safe. If they make favorable trades, looks like an error occurred. Maybe someone's DC'd again?
Yeah, looks like another error occurred. So we're going to have to go the lobby is remaking itself. We're going to have to go back into Champion Select soon enough once we figure out what the problem was. And did you try to pick Maokai again? But guess we should be back soon. We're going to go for a little break. I'm not sure. We might be able back into Champion Select quite shortly enough anyways.
And
Apologies for
are we back?
I think we're back.
I think we are back. Sorry, guys, I didn't mean to go AFK for a little bit there. It wasn't actually AFK. Brian, the streamer, told me to lower my mic, and it made me mute. Calling you out, Brian. Calling you out. Anyway, guys.
That's too funny.
Oh,
didn't want to
Brian.
hear you cast.
No one wants to hear me cast. That's why I'm like the mediator. Anyway, guys, we were going to pick some bands. You were nearly there. There was a little problem. The person who tried to pick realized they didn't own the champion they wanted to pick, which kind of screws up picks and bands a little bit. Didn't really know what they were going to do, but they decided to kind of keep saying picks and bans. Hopefully we'll be able to get it all sorted very, very quickly. But guys, Shen Kha'Zix was first picked up. You didn't touch on it briefly. Shen, interesting pick. Like, are they going to go salty split push Shen, just like Renekton was in that last game, but doesn't really have the same burst effectiveness as Renekton. Doesn't really, it doesn't really kind of like fit in that bursting kind of niche, if you like, Komal.
Yeah, Shen's not all about burst. He's not really about damage either. Yeah, he does apply a sufficient amount of damage, but he's really all about utility. Just sit in lane, farm, and to bring that global presence to your team. So that makes it great for dragons as well. If you take teleport on Shen, you can ult into your team and you can teleport back to lane, so you don't lose anything, but you gain something as well at the same time. So that's what Shen is really all about. It's all about that global pressure.
And precisely, I mean, with that ult, and if he takes teleport alongside that, it's just two different ways of getting around that map. And with this bot lane, if they're really going to go all in and just get kills, Shen will always be there right behind them, supporting them if need be, so they can go for those aggressive tower dives, possibly. And in time for the next, like, if UNiTE plan on getting any dragons, he can just ult down, he can TP down. He has two different ways, so he doesn't have to worry about his TP. Like, he can use it pretty much as he wants to on cooldown, which gives him a lot of benefits in lane in terms of XP and gold, possibly.
Yeah, so the final picks, since it did get disconnected from the champion select, but now that we're back in it, the final picks for Old Cannabines is going to be that Jason the top lane yet again, but they're picking up that Azir for the mid lane. We know he's pretty much of a bully when it comes to that mid lane, really provides a lot of poke, so it's going to see how they play that out in the mid lane. And the final pick for UNiTE is going to be Cassiopeia. I haven't seen her been played in a long, long time, and Limit is going to pick that up and it's bringing variety to his champion pool.
Yes, and noting on the Azir pick, and Azir has been noted as a very strong champion. His laning phase is okay, however, he really shines when it comes to the late game and even in the mid game. And if he isn't kept under control, he can snowball to be very scary.
Yeah, and the team compositions from both sides looking strong yet again. Quite a few changes on the side of UNiTE, but kind of sticking with the same jungler and top laner for Old Can of Beans. So just looking at the lane matchups as well, it'll be interesting to see. Now we have Shen versus Jace in the top lane. We said before, Jace is great for harassing from a distance. He's got that poke. Didn't work out really well for Dayslow in the previous game, but that was probably a different story due to the fact that he was playing against a Renekton, and the story is different this time around against a Shen.
And I think Jace is a really good pick into that Shen, because Jace, when given the chance to, he actually shreds towers with his W. Even though it has been nerfed slightly in this 5.1 patch, his W still does a lot of damage against towers, and when he gets enough AD, it really puts a lot of pressure. I mean, if eBay wants to teleport down bot lane for a dragon or ult a teammate, then he risks losing a tower for it, and he has to really make those teleports and ults really influential for UNiTE in order to make it worth him possibly losing a top tower for it.
Yeah, and then the jungle match we see, it's going to be Prince Tarquin on that Wukong yet again, and Razor has his Kha'Zix, his well-known Kha'Zix that he really favors when it comes to the jungle. It's one of his favorite champions as well, and plays quite a strong Kha'Zix as well. So it'd be interesting to see how them two face off in the jungle. We know that junglers tend to start off a bit slow once you get their farm going for those early levels, but then when it hits level 6, they really show their potential. We hope that Prince Tarquin might play it a bit different this time around. He did stay around that bot lane quite a bit, wasn't quite successful for him. Razor had a good, huge impact in the previous game, so we'll see how these two play against one another. And now the mid lane matchup is going to be Azir versus Cassie. What do you think about that?
Azir versus Cass. I mean, I'm very excited to see how this Cass is gonna play out. I mean, she's actually a very unique champion. She's a lane bully. She's strong. However, she is vulnerable in terms of mobility yet again. And with a Wukong, that might actually play into old Can of Beans' favor if the Wukong can get the Azir going and holding that Cassiopeia down. Because I have a feeling Azir is gonna have somewhat of a hard time in that mid lane if played well by End Limit, and I'm sure he's capable of that.
Yeah, it's really annoying to deal with Cassio, especially when she's throwing out that poison constantly and against an Azir. But Azir, he can stand at a distance and he can harass from that as well. So they're both mainly based on harassing one another in the laning phase. And them two did play quite well against one another last time around, so it's going to be interesting to see how they play on two different champions. And finally, the bot lane matchup. We were talking about this before. It's Jinx and Nami against Graves and Leona. So kind of Jinx is quite strong, especially with pushing power, and I get with a Nami as well brings a bit of utility. But we know how strong a Leona and Graves are together.
And we can see Coco Pops on the Leona taking that ignite, so we know that UNiTE's bot lane really want to go for that kill lane, and it's a really good pickup on ignite because they have the Nami heals and they have the summoner heal from Jinx. So if they can deny that with that 50% reduced buff or healing buff debuff, sorry, and yes, so it looks like we're going into game soon, and I feel Old Can of Beans' bot lane they really just want to favorable trades. Sorry, if they can trade well, they can just heal it all back up, and they have to try and avoid getting all in by the Leona and Graves, which is what the UNiTE bot lane is going to be looking to be doing. So Victorious on Jinx and is it Nasi on Nami, they really need to pay attention to their own position and avoid getting caught out by that Leona, because if they get caught out, that's going to be a lot of damage and possibly their lives at risk.
Yeah, and that just brings up the potential of going for a dragon as well. So you're going to have to be careful of Razor lurking around the bot lane as well. So as I said before, vision is key. They're going to be careful, and especially in those early levels, people tend to be quite careless when it comes to vision in those early games. You don't have your sights down, but you do have your trinkets, and you be carefully placing those to make sure that you don't get ganked by the opposing jungler. And sometimes teams kind of forget they either play extremely aggressive, forget to put that vision down, and then end up getting ganked from the opposing jungler. So vision is going to be important. So they're going to have to keep track of what routes the both junglers are going to be taking.
Yeah, I think it's just right. So quickly go across to you. I think I just fixed my mic properly. There you go, Brian. I think I fixed it a little bit. We are jumping onto the riff, guys, ladies and gentlemen. We are trying to keep this as TriCast as mediated as possible. It's very, very difficult because I think everyone has something to say about everything. But I'm very curious to know, this was something while you were talking about the bot lane. I was just saying, is a very, very kind of like, as you say, if you can get favorable trades, they can heal up. But going with the Wukong again, there's not a lot that he can work with realistically. Going into that bot lane really strike. Like, there's not a huge amount he can do or they can do for him unless Nami lands a pretty substantial Aqua Prison. So how is it going to be different from the last game?
I feel well, there's not going to be much opportunities for bot lane to be, for example, if Wukong goes bot lane in ganks, unless they can see Old Bag of Beans' bot lane winning in terms of like winning out in these trades and having higher HP percentages, then I'd like to see the Wukong focusing more around the top side rather than the bot side this game, because if he can get that Jace going, that Shen is going to be split pushing constantly this whole game and only ulting and TPing him when he needs to be there, which is every so minutes for objectives. For example, dragons, tower dives possibly. But if you can get the Jace going, then he can 1v1 the Shen without being afraid of getting killed or anything like that. And the Jace needs to be able to 1v1 that Shen because he's going to be split pushing constantly.
And just thinking about it as well, Jace versus Shen, you said it's a fantastic pickup for Old Can of Beans. I'll let you call them Old Bag of Beans for as many times as you like, though, because it's quite funny to hear you saying. But again, as you say, it's a much favourable matchup. You'd much rather see Prince Tarquin going for that. They're actually going for a red buff start. Very, very curious start there. Do you think that actually helps them, like, realistically in any way, Strike, or is it kind of more of a, kind of like, we have to try something different?
I feel it's like the last game. They chose to help the jungler again, but this is probably why you don't really see Wukong a lot in really high-level competitive games. It's because Wukong relies on that early help, otherwise he has to burn for a load. Oh, looks like there's a level 2 gank coming in the mid lane, actually.
Yeah, he's going in for this now. He gets the red buff proc. This could actually literally be everything they wanted to do with this. He's getting a lot of damage off, but I don't think Azir was very much on the same page. He goes in going back, but as you're saying, not a lot of early level kind of potentials. We see the level 2 hit up here. Good Aqua Prison there on to Hustlin. They end up dropping an Ignite for it, and honestly, Como, that was a pretty favorable trade in favor of UNiTE.
Yeah, definitely worked out well from that. Aqua Prison saved them as well. If Hassan wasn't caught up in that, he might have been able to get the kill themselves to go aggressive yet again. And once again, Ace doing a good job with those Aqua Prisons, really helping out Victorious there, which he really needs. And Coco Pops, this is just expected. We're going to expect him to try to zone out Jinx and try to go extremely aggressive as much as possible, because he's fully capable of doing so. And it's kind of setting that fear into them as well. Look, he's extremely nervous to try and go towards those creeps because that Zenith Blade is quite dangerous.
Yeah, it is, and if you look at this just on the mini-map, you'll see Kha'Zix going to steal that blue buff as he knew Wukong went for that level 2 gank. As we see Unlimit and Poompest forces the flash from Unlimit. He goes for a flash himself. He does get the first blood, though. They do not get the return kill, so that is a good first blood from Old Can of Beans. Starting off well, Como.
Yeah, went right in for that engage, and he played it out really nicely. Backed off a bit to not take too much damage, but went right back in to try and get that kill, which worked out really nicely from him. Did burn the flash, but was totally worth in that mid lane. Now we can see that Pimpa is definitely a lot more comfortable on that Azir, and even though he did play a really good Lissandra in the last game, you can see that how annoying Azir can be really be in that mid lane as well from that poking from a distance.
Yeah, and again, mid lane, gotta come back to you, Strike, as you are a mid lane mainer, if you like, main mid lane. I don't know how many more kind of ways I can say it, but how hard is it for you to kind of to deal with these two champions? Because I know from experience myself, the kind of, you know, what I call the meta champions of Ahri and LeBlanc find it very, very difficult with their constant poke. But because they both have constant poke, how does it kind of nullify itself, if at all?
It really depends on who has the favorable trade in this case. I mean, Cassio did get level 2 ganked, so that did set her behind a lot, and it opened a lot of breathing space for the Azir. But I've actually noticed that the Azir took Ignite, which is very aggressive. I mean, you rarely see that. You usually see Azirs take Barrier, Heal, because they like to play that slow farming poke game, because both Cassio and Azir are both lane bullies almost, like poke orientated. Oh, and there's like action in the bot lane.
Yeah, a bit of action. Victorious. Good Aqua Prison though onto Hustle. He might have to back away a little bit. They may try to turn this around onto Coco Pops. They haven't quite got it. Whoa! Shock Blast goes completely AWOL up top lane. They don't really get anything at all from it. And again, this bot lane, it's all action, and it's not really gone anybody's favor, because except for UNiTE, as they have a 10 CS lead now, and it's just not working for them, Como.
Yeah, and we can see that Cookpop's really looking to play aggressive as Leona does, but Nami doing a really good job by getting those Aqua Prisons down, but here's Razor in the bot lane.
Yeah, Razor trying to come in. He's going to get a little bit more damage. Doesn't quite get it, though. Nearly taking out the Jinx, who was on sub 50 health. Not quite, though. Burned a flash from Coco Pops as well. Looks like Nami's going to stick around, though. But again, a lot of aggression, but Strike, coming back to you about vision control. Look at these wards, like early deep vision wards coming out from UNiTE. They really want to know exactly where Prince Tarquin is going.
Yeah, and this is really good. I mean, especially on the red side, getting deep wards in the blue side, bot side jungle to get the vision of the jungler, so you know exactly where they are. It opens up the map for Razor, a UNiTE's jungler, to really know where to almost plan his route. He knows which camps to do. He knows where to be at the right time, because he saw the Wukong in the top side, and there was by a really nice ward placed by eBay in the top lane bush, and we saw Wukong just staying in there for a few seconds, and he was wasting his time because they did have vision on. Oh, looks. Oh.
It's alright, but as you were saying, like, just so much vision control, being able to know exactly where everyone on the opposite team is, means that you can start making plays like Kha'Zix did or like Razor tried to do in that bot lane, trying to jump on top of the Jinx. Almost turned out well for him, but not exactly what they needed. But again, it's not looking too bad, if I'm not quite honest, for oh, he just misses the ult in there, and he's gonna go in on it. It won't be a trade, unfortunately. That ult was just so close, as we see now. Jay's getting caught up. Oh, the snipe kill coming out from Razor with the void spikes. But that was just so unfortunate. Very, very poor misjudgment of one of the ultimate coming out from Azir. As we see now, Prince Darkreed actually taking a lot of damage. He might go down to this ignite. Don't know if he's gonna just take him down. No, he just survived. But again, as you're saying, huge amount of pressure on every single lane, and it's all even Stevens at the moment. There's only about 150 gold in the difference.
Yeah, they're definitely playing it different this time around. You can see that confidence just been set into them as well. And it feels like they're a lot more comfortable on these champs as well. Like, when they went into the last game, they weren't quite sure on what to do. And this time around, they're trying to play it a lot more carefully and a lot more aggressive as well, so they can even have a choice, especially in that mid lane. Because you're quite capable of dealing with one another. It really depends on the jungler, and sometimes it's only a matter of the jungler even showing their presence that can really count for what happens in a lane. And that's what Razor's been trying to do. He's trying to counter jungle as well, which he likes to do, especially on Kha'Zix, since it is one of his most favorable champions. He likes to get and steal away those jungle camps so he denies his opponent as much as possible, but he's really about showing presence in the lanes as well.
And honestly, like, as you were saying, Strike, a huge amount of pressure being put on top of Shen at the moment. He actually went haunting guys Shen, which is a very, very odd one. As Victorious gets jumped on, he gets bursted down. Good solar flare into the solar flare into the ultimate, the collateral damage, excuse me, from Graves. Great pickup for them there, as you see Coco Pops now roaming, trying to get more and more vision control. But haunting guys on Shen, Strike, in this top lane. Have you seen it before?
I've heard of it. However, I don't see it as being the best pickup for the Shen, especially with UNiTE's current team composition. I mean, Shen is literally aside from Leona, their only real front line, because Kha'Zix is most likely going for a more damage-orientated build. And I'm guessing from UNiTE's playstyle, the Razor is going to actually be playing more of an assassin-style Kha'Zix rather than that front-line bruiser Kha'Zix. But I'm not too sure about that haunting guys pickup. It gives them health. Ooh, looks like this. Actually.
Yeah, a bit of action now. Stand United has been used. TP coming out as well from Jace. This is actually a pretty decent fight for all kind of bees. They get one kill. Jinx gets excited. They're trying to keep going onto this. It's a good ultimate from Cassiopeia, but again, it's completely negated by Poombest. They're trying to still go on top of this. They need something else now. There comes the Jinx ultimate. It does get another kill there. Nicely done there. They're going to be able to pick up Hustling as well. That's a 3 for none. Very nicely played. eBay Razor just sitting along in this bush. They are in full vision, unfortunately, and here they go. They're trying to get something on the eBay. Razor trying to jump in as well. He has got one more charge in his ultimate. He's trying to juke them out, but it's not going to be enough. Here they go. They're trying to see if they can get one more. No, not enough mana to do it, but they get forced off of Dragon, and I wouldn't be surprised if they went for it straight away. They're actually not going to, which is a bit odd for me, but again, good fight for all kind of beans, Cumble.
Yeah, they played it nicely for themselves, using that Shen as well to join the team, and the rotation done by Poompest as well, so that really helped them a lot. They could have gone for Dragon, but they're quite low, so it was a bit too risky, especially at this stage of the game where the death timers aren't too high, and it's just a bit too much of a risk to go for a Dragon, especially when your opponents are going to respawn quite shortly as well, and you don't have that much damage as well. But, oh, Victorious overstaying the lane.
Yeah, overstaying the lane, flashes away from Coco Pops, who drops down the ignite. He's actually dropped down absolutely everything. There is no flash or heal on Hustling, so he is just purely dependent on everything. He uses the collateral damage. Coco Pops is going to have some serious cooldowns now in a second. There it is. They're going to try to jump back on top of him. There goes the swag kill with the smoke screen, or the pool, or the sprinkler system, if you like, on this particular skin. And it's just not a good place. Victorious definitely overstaying his lane, Como.
Yeah, that's the one mistake that people tend to make. They have no vision down around the area, but also overstaying the lane when you know your opponents have a respawn and you stick around the lane for too long, you end up getting punished severely for it as well. So that was a bit of a misplay there by Victorious, but then again, looks like UNiTE have taken that to their advantage and started that Dragon.
Yeah, and Strike, they actually are not really got a lot of vision on this though. Cassiopeia trying to push down as much as he can. Just Hustling using himself as a human shield. There comes the ultimate from Jinx all the way from base. She did get a bit of damage onto Razor. They may fancy this though. Prince Darkqueen gonna try come in now with it. Here goes the Crackle Prison. It's very nicely done. Catches on the two people. Here they go. Oh! Oh, it's a great limit ultimate from the Cassiopeia. They're trying to still get something back from it. Hustling, going to try and take on Poompes. He's getting his position, and no, just a little bit too wrong there. And they are going to end up losing 1-for-1, but they did pick up the Dragon Strike. Actually, as I say that, they're going to keep going onto it. I don't think they're going to be able to do anything, but again, don't get anything else from it. But again, Strike, Dragon picked up. They lose one person for it, but they did lose or gain one back from it. So pretty much worth in favor of UNiTE.
Yeah, and just see the Kaz is picking up the kill right there, making them 2-0-1. And you saw that beautiful Cassiopeia ult, which most probably likely saved Kazik's life there, preventing the Wukong to ult as soon as he went in. And picking up that dragon, that's really going to give them an advantage. I mean, we can see the 2-0-1 Kha'Zix, he's really getting ahead now. Cassio is 2-3-1, however, she's still ahead in farm, so it isn't so bad. And with those, is it 2 dragons or is it 1 dragon at the moment?
1 dragon at the moment.
1 dragon, though. Yeah, I mean, it's just going to make the next one even scarier. I mean, every dragon that you give them just makes that enemy team a lot more scarier, and you need to prevent the next dragons from being taken. And they can actually do this with their team comp. I mean, they got Lynx. I mean, nice flash from Jace.
Yeah, very nice flash. Coco Pop very much doing the roaming support job right now for his team. He's been kind of everywhere, landing those shock blast solar flares. Again, I'm just thinking about it as well. Cassiopeia could have been a fantastic pick into this. If you think about this now, both Azir, Wukong, and Jinx all have, and Nami to an extent, all have to be facing you to do their ultimates, to actually get their ultimate abilities off, as well as that the poke that comes out from Jace. Also, he needs to be facing you. So the insta stun and the amount of damage that you'll be able to get off with the Cassiopeia, it could be a fantastic pickup for them, Cole.
Yeah, that's true. And the competition's actually worked really well for here. In the top lane, Dayslow and Shen going head to head. But as I was talking about, as you were saying, that's a really good point that you made. I wish Coco Puffy in the top lane as well. The whole party going on here in the top lane to pick up that kill for themselves. The top, a tower goes down as well in the bot lane. There's a 4-man push going down here. Quite dangerous.
Yeah, they end up forcing a flash there from Prince Darkwing, but he didn't get anything from it. The collateral damage comes down, and they're able to get the minion wave away. And this actually could be a little bit of a poor position if UNiTE decide to collapse on it, but they're not going to. They're going to stay in the mid lane and the top lane, pick up 2 towers for the loss of 1. Put down a turret from Azir there. And again, Strike, we talk about kind of rotations and how teams, you know, work better, you know, what teams do better in a sense of, oh no, Nami, she was recalling in the wrong place at the wrong time. She drops down the exhaust. She's actually keeping herself alive, but it's good turret aggroing from, oh no, Azir actually, I forgot he gets the turret procs. I forgot about that. He ends up picking up that kill. A bit of unfortunate, just as I was praising him for his turret aggroing skills. eBay getting jumped on by Deco Lol. One more should do it. Oh, good flash though. Able to keep him alive. And no, I think I stand UNiTE could have been used down that ball lane to save Leona maybe, but again, you know, not too bad. They have, look at the CS lead though in favor of UNiTE. They are miles ahead in the mid lane and the ADC, or the ADC's Strike.
Mm-hmm. And it just supplements it. I mean, yes, the old can of beans have been got, especially it was mainly in the mid lane where it's really far ahead. Jinx is slightly far behind with that Graves with the IE already, but Jinx is still having to build that Infinity Edge, and she is really far behind in farm, as you said, and that's really due to what happened at level 1. I mean, they put all their eggs in one basket, giving the Wukong the pull, because when Jinx and Nami both helped the Wukong to pull for the red, in hopes that they'd get a level 2 gank to kill on the Cassiopeia. Oh, and it's like another kill on the top lane.
Yeah, the taunt came in. Now Decola, he's got ignited. He's going to go down from eBay. Going down on eBay. Weirdest statement I think I'll ever say. But anyway, and as you see now, they're trying to, it looks like Limit's trying to bait the Azir out a little bit, but he might want to take too much poke. As, oh no, they're going to find each other now. Coco Pops is collapsing, so is Huston. They're all collapsing. Here comes the ultimate there. Good solar flare. But it gets it. Oh, fantastic use of the ultimate there from a Limit. He actually flashes away from the Nami tidal wave as well. They may just turn around and try to kill the Nami. Not going to work though. She is able to flash away. Notorious able to get away as well. Tries to a zap just in case. But again, good play there from UNiTE. Able to really turn around what looked like a pretty, you know, dodgy situation.
Yeah, they got that ultimate, which was perfect for them to keep on going for this fight. But what old kind of beings need to be careful now. It's getting towards that time where Dragon's about to respawn, and they're playing it a bit carelessly now. They have to be careful to stay alive and make sure they group and get that vision down as well, because we saw in the last game as well, they fell behind the Dragons and everything started falling for them. They lost out in vision control, they lost out in objectives, which made the game harder and harder. They're keeping at an even pace with UNiTE this time around, but they need to be careful about the objectives as well, because that's what's most important. You can lose kills, but you need to be careful to secure those objectives. And Dragon's going to spawn quite shortly enough. There is vision down from both teams around the area, so this is probably going to be the next big fight that's going to break out.
Strike, realistically, like, you know, whoever comes out on top of this, whoa, my god, the isolation damage comes in. There goes the Jinx ultimate flying by. But as I was just going to say, Strike, the Dragon is a big objective, especially for both these two teams, especially with the turret damage it gives, the extra movement speed, all the different AD stats it can give. But can Old Cannabines really afford to lose grip on Dragon again this game? Or do you think if they don't fight it, which they're going to have to do in a few seconds, they're just going to end up snowballing again out of contention?
Well, at the rate it's going now, it doesn't look like they can contest it. I mean, Wukong just died in the bot lane, and looks like they're getting more kills here.
Yeah, they really are. There goes, let's see, Azir actually getting a kill for himself. Victorious trying to get away, trying to put down as much damage as he possibly can. He gets stunned up, but here comes the ultimate. It's swapping every directed camera. They're going to get Coco Pops just about, unless Hustler can really kill him. No, he's not able to. And oh, it's a double kill. Very nicely done. It's going to be Jace picking up that one. Prince Dark Queen didn't run through the speed gate. He actually jumps back in on top of eBay. eBay gonna throw back the blade, able to pick up another kill from that. But a Dragon going in favor of UNiTE, and not gonna lie, they seem to have been overzealous to fight that Komal.
Yeah, they went for the Dragon and they jumped right back over to try and get some kills as well. Still works out in the favor of UNiTE because they're now sitting on 2 Dragons, and you can see once they get one Dragon, it really helps them to keep going. They get that vision down and they don't hesitate. They go as soon as it spawns, and that's probably the downfall of Old Cannabines. They don't really... Oh, so much damage coming up from Kha'Zix.
Yeah, so much damage. He gets exhausted. He's able to jump away with those evolved wings. He is level 11, throws back the Void Spikes. I think he should be fine. Oh, there's the Jinx ultimate just flying past his ears. And we see Coco Pops now playing Roaming Bully. And oh no, Nami, you're in the wrong place for this. They do end up picking up that one and limit 4-4-2. Kha'Zix 5-0-4. Not a great game at the moment for Old Cannabines. It's slipping away from them again. Poompest trying to judge into this one again. He pops down the turret. He actually flashes away from Coco Pops. Coco Pops is so tanky. He misses the ultimate. Limit gonna use his ultimate just to pick up that kill, but a Limit will go down to the Wukong. They see a TP coming out as well from Jace. And again, they're just kind of wasting summoners at this stage. They get the TP out of Jace, but it really wasn't anything else for them to pick up, Strike.
No, I mean, I'm burning in that teleport as well, especially against the Shen. And this is actually one of the situations where Haunting Guys isn't that bad. I mean, I noted before that it would be nice for the Jace to actually be ahead to control that Shen. However, at this current moment, Shen is actually ahead of the Jace. I mean, he looks like he's going for Zhonya's on top of that Haunting Guys and cooldown boots.
Yeah, it's such a strange build to see Coco Pops now. He may have overstayed his welcome a little bit. He hasn't got flash. He hasn't got much escape either. Oh, there's a Shen ultimate actually. It's going to save his life just about. So we see the Stand United and Hustling just pushing down this top lane. He might need to get out though, as he's in a little bit of no man's land. Should be alright a little bit. He's actually trying to turn this back around. He's able to. He's 2v1ing right now, and he's going to pick up 1. Maybe even pick up 2. He's going to have one little quick strike. There it is. The Nami ultimate comes out 2v1ing and coming out on top. Hustling, able to show us. And there goes another Jinx ultimate flying past his ears. They hit once and they never hit again. We all been there, guys, with the Jinx ultimates. They just never hit the cross maps. But Jace coming up to this top lane now. He should be able to pick this one up unless Victorious can land that zap. And Hustling may have overstayed his welcome. But overall, do we feel like Old Cannabines are just kind of just getting outclassed just in a load of areas?
Yeah, it's just that they had a good lead at the beginning. They're playing really well for themselves, and they're keeping up in the game against UNiTE. It's just that they're playing extremely aggressive when it's unnecessary. They're going trying to get kills, but they end up losing out more than they gain. and that subsequently makes them lose towers and dragons. So I think they're just getting a bit too ahead of themselves by playing unnecessarily aggressive against UNiTE, especially because since UNiTE's team composition is so aggressive as well at the same time.
Yeah, we just saw that, a little bit of that over-aggression really turning its head on them as they see, oh no, it's going to be, wow, that damage. You need one little bit of mana. Razor does not have it, unfortunately, for the Q to be able to devour the Jace. But again, as you said, just in the mid lane, a little bit of over-aggression from Azir turns out to cost him his life as he just gets turned on. And oh, Coco pops. He does not want you to live, G-Colo. Again, he's just not working out for them right now. They're taking 2 or 3 turrets. There comes the ultimate from Ting as well. The collateral damage did come out, but it wasn't enough. It ended up going towards Cassiopeia, as we see now the battle of the supports. And actually, Nami might come out on top of this. She's got the minions backing her. She may try and go for this. No, not quite far enough. She has got the tidal wave now, just a second, but it's not going to be enough to kill her. But now she's in a bit of a tricky situation. And Strike, this is just, as you say, over-aggression just turning against everybody.
Yeah, I mean, what Kamal just said before about old can of beans, sorry. Old can of beans. Playing overly aggressive when they don't need to be. I mean, their composition has power spikes in the mid and late game. However, they were fortunate enough to be ahead in the early game, which is something you wouldn't see just in terms of team comps, but they were. So they should have admired that and just put that on in their mind to be like, okay, guys, we had some good luck in the early game. So let's play it safe and not throw this lead that we've just created for ourselves.
Yeah, I think Como, you know, the group stages, as you know, are very, very important for these teams. They all play each other twice. It's like a world styles do, and there's 5 people in each group, and it's just something that they need to kind of brush off, I suppose. They need to not. Oh my God! One more Q, and you'd be able to take this kill. Not quite though. The Mikhail's coming out for Prince Darkqueen from Nami, able to save him and give him the kill. But again, as I was saying to you, Como, groups are so important. They need to kind of take this result with a grain of salt and kind of move on from it exceptionally quickly. Otherwise, they'll find themselves in a very, very unpromising position coming into the qualifying stages.
Yeah, you gotta remember that you're playing against one team twice. So you may win one, you may win 2, or you might end up losing 2. So you're gonna have to not let that affect you because you've got a good few more games to play after that. And if you're gonna let that affect you, then it's gonna make it really difficult for you to place in the top 2 as well. And UNiTE, you can tell that they're playing with a lot of confidence, regardless of that early level as well. They managed to come back from that. They just capitalized on all kind of Bean's mistakes. So, as you said, you gotta take it with a grain of salt. You can't. That Zhonya's though.
Yeah, I saw what he's trying to do. Trying to flash taunt into the Zhonya's. It would have been a little bit of swagger, but again, not exactly what you need right now, Shen. He is 2-0-3, so I suppose he has earned the right to do whatever he kind of wants. But again, this is just such a difficult position to be in, and you would hope for all kind of Bs that they won't take this loss too hard. They won't kind of, you know, go, as you say, go on tilt as you do play everyone else in your group twice. But it is a little bit disheartening, Strike, to go 0-2 in a qualifier, especially when it's the first game of the season.
Yeah, and it's like what you were saying, don't take it too much to heart. I mean, you learn from games you lose. I mean, take on the mistakes that you see from this game, like watch the VOD again, just look, what could we have done better? What could we have done differently? What did UNiTE do?
Yeah, exactly. We see now just Jinx getting a double kill, so it's actually turning in favor of UNiTE a little bit, as we see now everybody using those gates to very good use. People kind of forgetting about them. Poompest needs to be a little bit careful though. Victorious needs to be careful. Not going to be enough though. He's going to go down. Prince Darkqueen getting stunned up as well. They are turning this fight around just purely from how far ahead they are. And eBay, one more Q on top of Poompest will do it, but it's not going to be enough. They end up trading 3 for 2 in favor of all kind of beans. Little bit overzealous now from UNiTE, end up getting caught out in the enemy's base and not a single bit of damage done. But I really feel that, you know, you can't. This game is very, very. They're so far ahead. Let's have a look at the items. Let's not look at Shen's because I really can't explain it. Let's have a look at like Kha'Zix. He's got a Black Cleaver, a Last Whisper, his full jungle item, versus the Sightstone, which I don't really think works that well on Wukong, who only kind of has a couple of half items as well. You know, in the mid lane, you have a fully stacked Archangels with a Rabadon's Death Cap, Cassiopeia versus Morello Nomicon, nearly Zhonya's Azir. Bot lane is a huge discrepancy. Phantom Dancer, IE, Last Whisper versus just an IE. Like, realistically, like, all kind of beans, they shouldn't really be trying to look for fights, and it's just unfortunate that they keep getting caught out, in, as we said before, in these over-aggressive situations.
Yeah, I mean, Azir was pushing up really far ahead, overextending without any vision whatsoever around the mid area, and this opens up a possible Baron, for UNiTE. However, Graves is a bit low. Looks like he's trying to lifesteal a bit of health just to maybe stay in the fight, picking up that red at the same time. But judging from this, old kind of beans could actually come back from this. I mean, just looking at how UNiTE has I've itemized. I mean, look, Kha'Zix has gone full damage. The only frontline really is Leona and Shen, which Shen has, as you can see, with his build path. Oh, he's after getting caught here. I mean, that Jinx does a lot of damage.
Yeah, he's after getting caught, but it's a great solar flare there by Coco Pops, and this could be a complete turnaround. There goes Nami 1. They're getting one more reset. Jinx is a second to go. Azir is third, and it's going to be fourth and fifth. There's the full set of everyone from all kind of beans. Every can has been shot off the wall. No more beans for them, and they get completely ace. And honestly, that was an incredible turnaround. It just showed you how far ahead that UNiTE were, really, for them to turn that fight around, Como.
Yeah, it was perfect for them as well. They're so strong right now. They've got so many more items as well, which enable them to do so much more damage as well at the same time. But they're just going to take these Nexus Towers and finish the game and at a strong end as well.
Yeah, and that's going to be game 2 of this best of 2, going in favor of UNiTE. That is them taking the series 2-0, so a perfect start for them. All kind of beans, they have a little bit more work to do. They have a little bit of things to think about, but again, they didn't play badly. They just, I can't think of a better word than just kind of like better rotations from UNiTE, better positioning, better everything in almost the last Shen build, which I didn't quite understand. But again, all kind of means they just got to think about the next game. They have to forget about this. They've got to come back a lot stronger, forget everything that they just saw, and just work towards the next few games, because they're now at a disadvantage. They've already taken on 2 losses, but it's against possibly the best team in Ireland, so not a huge amount of loss of face, really. But anyway, guys, that has been the game for today. Thank you for joining us. I have been Oisin Blood Penguin Malloy, and joining me for this cast has been a very, very problematic cast of a first G-Series League of Legends Round 1 qualifiers. Has been Kevin Strike Chung and Como Kamala Anasari. We'll be back very, very soon. This weekend, hopefully, we'll tell you guys very soon, with another game from the qualifiers. Please hope to see you there. But anyway, guys, from us, that is everything. Good night.
Peace.